Tribes TV on location at the Property Investor Show, and right now we're on the Shawbrook bank stand, and I'm very delighted to be joined by Stephen Johnson, who is MD of Commerical. So welcome, Stephen.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Just welcome. Just really to start, what's your feeling about the current state of the buy-to-let market from the bank's perspective?
Yeah, I think as a market, I think the fundamentals are really strong. The private rented sector has an important role to play. You've got less sort of provision of social housing, owner-occupiers. It's very hard to get mortgages now, both from an affordability point of view with deposits, but also mortgage regulations changing, the ability to raise those mortgages. And if you're self-employed or you don't tick a lot of the boxes, your provision of getting a mortgage now is really quite hard. So that's obviously driving the tenant demand.
Yeah.
So I think the fundamentals are very, very strong. Obviously, Help to Buy is a scheme that's quite political with general election in mind. I don't see that changing the tenant dynamics. I guess the one thing that I'll just advise landlords is you just always got to be cognizant of the fact that we're in a very low interest rate environment. So you must, be sensible with your level of gearing. Anticipate those rate rises because they're going to come, and make sure you've got a sustainable business. That would be my one word of caution, I guess.
Very good advice. Now let's talk about Shawbrook specifically. Who are your ideal demographic of landlord? Because you want to go for a specific type of landlord,
definitely.
don't you?
No, we do. For us, the client profile's our very first sort of consideration when we do a lend, and we're looking for a match for the professional, the property professional. And we like lending to people that I think do it as a business. We think they're better credits. These guys would have, would have different investment strategies, but they understand their markets, and we much prefer lending to those type of clients than to someone that thinks it's a good idea because they've heard about it in the press.
Absolutely.
And buy-to-let's the next big thing. So our clients, to be across the board, are all professional property people, and that's our key thing. Because
that is kind of an alternative to some of the other more vanilla buy-to-let lenders that have certain criteria that you can't have a certain number than properties with them.
No, absolutely. I think there's there is the retail market, which is dominated by mortgage lenders who just see it as another form of residential lending. And then we're a bank. We come from a commercial background, so we approach it as a business.
Yes.
So and that's where I think the distinction lies. So a lot of our clients have very different investment strategies, and they're not all the same, but they all have the same thing in common. They're all very sensible. They've got a good track record. It's a profitable business, with a good cash flow. And obviously, a lender, that's what you want to see, because the cash flow is key for the loan and the performance of that loan on your lending book. So
absolutely. Now, what I was pleased to hear about Shawbrook is that it's not a case of the computer says no. You actually have human underwriters looking at everything on a case-by-case basis, don't you?
Yeah, that's our model. It's not the computer says no. Sometimes it's one of my team. No, I'm only joking. We do say yes quite a lot. But we do every loan we let assess on its own merits. So we look at the client, we want to know the experience of the client, we then want to make sure it's affordable, and then the last thing on the consideration is an asset that we think is suitable security. So it's delegated lending authorities. I have a lending authority to 2.5 million. Everyone in my team has a delegated lending authority, so when clients speak to meet with myself or with some of my team, they're talking to the person that ultimately decides whether to make the lending decision. A little bit old-fashioned, but it's a model that we think is right, and it fits the profile of borrowers that we're looking to attract.
So just to finish, give us an example of a kind of very competitive product that you've got available at the moment.
Yeah, we're quite active with the refurbishment, in the refurbishment sector. I mean, fundamentally we offer mortgages, but then we also do some shorter term lending. So we're quite active with clients who see opportunities, want to buy, quickly refurbish, and then either hold it on for a mortgage or sell it on for a profit. So we have some short term products from 0.65 a month, which compared to standard sort of bridging rates, you'd be at one and north of 1% a month. So we're considerably cheaper than the sort of privately funded lenders. On our mortgage side, we have a refurb product, so it's a 3 and 5 year mortgage. We lend to afterworks value at around 475 over LIBOR. So they're the client's got the benefit of knowing he's going to take the equity out of the project, but he's got a 3 and 5 year mortgage already. He doesn't have to remortgage from a bridge to a term loan. So they're two areas that I think have been particularly good for us, and I think tapped into a lot of landlord desire right now, which is to see property that's undervalued, where it needs a bit of bit of creativity, it can create some capital on day one, and it'll then let very well with a better rental stream. So that refurb angle is good for us.
And as a landlord, can I come direct to you, or do I have to go through an intermediary?
No, we're kind of an advisor-led business, so we have a panel of professional brokers. We do speak to clients, meet clients all the time, but we'd normally ask them to work with one of our advisors, of whom we pay out of our sort of share. It's part of our business model. So I think the advisor channel has an important role to play for landlords as well. I think they add value, can save you time. The good ones, obviously, there's like all walks of life, but generally I'd recommend, I think, advisors have an important role to play.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much for talking to us here at Property Tribes TV, and the Shawbrook Bank mortgages are available via Property Tribes Mortgages, and we're delighted to have you as part of our suite of products. So thanks for chatting to us.
Pleasure.